Good evening, everyone. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Coast Salish people, including our near neighbors, the Shiani First Nation and the Sauk First Nation. We recognize and respect our First Nations governments, all of whom have long-standing relationship with the land and sea waters that continue to this day. Welcome to the Finance meeting of November 20th, 2023. Please be sure to have your cell phones turned off during the meeting. There are two meetings this evening. The first is the Finance meeting, followed by the Council meeting. At each meeting, there will be an opportunity for the public to speak at public participation. This is an opportunity to speak on the topic pertaining to that specific meeting. Committee, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Jukin, seconded by Mayor Little. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Presentations. This evening we have Grant Brown, Chief Administrative Officer of the West Shore Parks and Recreation Society Services, giving us a PowerPoint. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to come here today and give you a brief overview of the West Shore Parks and Recreation Society. As mentioned, my name is Grant Brown. I've been with the Society since 2017 and I've been the administrator for the past 4 years. I had the lucky honor of getting that role right before COVID hit. It took us through COVID, which was an adventure, and which has been great. We've had a great recovery since then. We offer a wide variety of recreational and sporting opportunities for West Shore residents, and I'll briefly touch on all of them today. I'll do my best to not speak too quickly because it is quite it's the largest single complex in BC and the largest variety on one site, and so there's a lot to cover, and I'll try to get through it all today. Was it on before? Sorry, technical difficulty. Oh, it went to sleep. Maybe. Oh. I'll turn it off and on again when it does. Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you. So just a brief overview and sort of history of the Society. So the Society was incorporated under the Society Act in November 2001. Prior to that, we were operated by the CRD. The members currently include Langford, Colwood, yourselves, Highlands, and View Royal. It's a 109-acre site. We have 2 arenas, a pool, fitness center, indoor sports complex, 3 ball diamonds, 3 natural turf, and 1 artificial turf field, 2 playgrounds, a 9-hole par 3 golf course, basketball court, tennis courts, lacrosse box, velodrome, lawn bowls, BMX track, child care center, 55-plus activity center, skate park recently is the newest addition this year, numerous rooms in multiple buildings. We also have run the off-site center in Langford on Carlow Road, which is Centennial Center for Arts, Culture, and Community. And as well, and Wild Play is on site as well. It is up and behind the velodrome. So as mentioned before, it's quite a large site. The vision of the Society is to inspire community to move, learn, play for life. Our mission is dedicated to providing diverse and accessible recreational sporting opportunities for all West Shore residents to offer excellent experiences for healthy, active lifestyles. And our values of the staff are committed to making our vision a reality by focusing on positive working relationships within the community. We believe that business needs to be conducted in an efficient and effective manner. They're open to opportunities and ideas that allow us to provide better ways of doing business in a respectful, fair, and honest way. We're transparent, easily accessible, and consultative. We strive to develop a culture of respect, awareness, and responsibility for our organization, the community, and the natural environment, and hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate some of that through the presentation today. There are 3 agreements that govern us. The first is the West Shore Parks and Recreation and Community Service Agreement. That is the relationship between yourselves and the other 4 owners and how that relationship works as far as financial plans, new facilities and improvements, and how the board is structured. There's also the operating maintenance and management agreement. That's the agreement between ourselves as the West Shore Parks and Recreation operating the facilities on your behalf and what the expectations are there, as well as the Constitution, which is the bylaws of the society, which goes over the roles and duties of the directors and proceedings of annual general meetings. So now we'll get into the more interesting aspects and the services we offer. So we're broken into 5 departments. We've got the aquatics department, fitness and wellness, community recreation, which has then 4 sub-departments, including license care, youth and sport, arts and culture, and community development. We have our arena, events and golf, as well as our facility rentals. And then throughout all of these, we try to have a focus on inclusion and support so that we can ensure that there aren't barriers for people in participating in these facilities and making use of them. Within the aquatics department, we have learn to swim programs, drop and pool use, such as fun swims, lake swimming and water walking, rental groups and special events, and advanced aquatics and safety. So to share some statistics, within the last 12 months, we've had just over 123,000 uses in the pool of drop-in, 975 swimming lessons to over 6,100 participants, mostly youth. Within the last 12 months, we're the home to 5 separate swim clubs for both youth and adult. 8 local schools, elementary, middle, and secondary, use the pool for different aspects, usually right around Christmas and at the end of the school year. And we also have 7 community groups making use of the pool, which include physical therapy, scuba, and occupational therapy. Within fitness and wellness, we've got a weight room where we have drop-in use, small programs, small group classes, personal training and orientations, and youth orientations. This, within the last 12 months, in a lot of aspects we've been doing, we're really trying to focus on the youth, trying to give them better alternatives and staying healthy and learning to love physical recreation for the rest of their lives. We've got group fitness with over 35 different classes offered through the week. We offer programs through various rooms within the facility, in the fitness studio, for example, as well as in the field house and in the 55 Plus Activity Center. We have a full operating rehabilitation program that is run by kinesiologists and athletic therapists. And within the last 12 months, we've seen just shy of 137,000 uses within our weight room and 7,000 fitness class attendees. This has sort of been the biggest growth for us this year. Coming out of COVID, where fitness was one of the areas that was hit quite a bit with a lot of the restrictions. As that came out, there was definitely, I described it as a lot of pent-up recreation need from the public, and it's certainly come through in a lot of areas, but in particular in the fitness center and with youth. So we've got the Brook School, brings busloads of kids down, which as a user of the facility, it can certainly at times, if you hit the wrong time of day, it's very, very busy. It can be somewhat chaotic in there. But it's been great to see. Certainly rather see the youth in there using the facility than other aspects. And so we've certainly seen a huge growth in the fitness area, coming back to far better numbers than what we saw even before 2019. Within the community recreational area, which somewhat this term somewhat confuses people somewhat. If you think about it, we've got pool and fitness, and we've got arenas, and everything else tends to fall into community recreation. And so, as mentioned before, it falls into licensed care, youth and sport, arts and culture, and community development. Within our licensed care program, we have a full-time daycare. And so this is one of the more recent, the build that went on to renovate the upper floor of the JDF Arena and convert it into the child care center. That happened through some federal and provincial grant funding. That construction went on through the restriction times and opened in 2021. We have 24 space full-time daycare, which is full with an incredibly long wait list that unfortunately we struggle to meet. People are putting them on the wait list well before they're age able to start participating in the program, just to guarantee themselves spots. We have 5 different preschools with 132 spots that run through the year from ages 2 to 5. And we also have a licensed after-school care that runs in the afternoons, where we have 140 spaces. We pick up from 7 schools in School District 62, 1 in School District 61. We require 5 buses and 6 routes to do this. And we provide care and programming in 8 different rooms around the facility. So between 2:30 and 5, a good portion of the facility is taken over by after-school care, and it's been it's quite a popular program to help parents out. We also offer licensed and non-licensed camps, and this last summer we ran over 230 camps to more than 4,000 different children went through our programs through the summer. And some of those photos in there, the daycare is the top right, our licensed preschool, nature preschool is down in the bottom right-hand corner, so they spend their time outside around the park, and then that's one of the camps down there in the bottom left. Within youth and sport, one of our great successes we talk a lot about to update the board on is our youth nights, and so that was brought back. We're in our second year of that. It's been incredibly successful. So far this year, we've been averaging 95 youth per Friday night. And so that's from 6:30 for $2 between 6:30 and 8 o'clock at night. Youth it's primarily 12 to 17, but we do allow, there's some outliers that happen with that as well, but they get access to the pool and it's set aside just for them. And then following that, the indoor sports complex is left open, as well as the youth room for them to be able to do, there's different games. We've got basketball, the turf field is available. They can set up volleyball courts and different activities for them. We've also increased our drop-in sports, in particular pickleball indoors has been quite popular, as well as we've got drop-in basketball, and we've tried off and on to do drop-in floor hockey. We keep giving that a go and having a hard time getting too much turnout for that. One of the programs that I would like to highlight is our Girls Got Game, and that was a program that was through some provincial grant funding, and it's targeted at females from ages 9 to 15. The goal of the program is to break down barriers and help young girls develop confidence and a passion for sport and physical activity. The outcome is to improve the experience of girls in sport and physical activity programming to lead to more sustained participation throughout their lifespan. One of the really interesting things of this is the community partnerships we've developed. We've had to make this program go, every night that it was on, they do a different activity, and we've had coaches from Rugby Canada come in, we've had the Camosun Chargers volleyball coaches come in, the UVic Vikes basketball coaches come in, and various female youth leaders from sports throughout the community have come in and participated in that. And so we've been successful in getting grant funding, so that's usually offered a couple times every session, or every season, sorry. We also have our Arts and Culture stream, and that's primarily housed at the Centennial Center for Arts and Culture and Community. That's over on Carlow Road. Within there, one of the big highlights and the most popular area is the pottery studio. And within there, we offer open studio time, adult programs, private and semi-private lessons, school-age programs, and home learners pottery sessions. That's been incredible. That pottery studio used to be in the basement of the Q Center. We moved it over there a couple of years ago, and it's been incredibly popular and it's worked out very well. We were able to expand the space for that as well, and it's having that designated space over there has been great. We also have the Inspiring Artists Children's Arts Studio. This specializes in arts classes, workshops, and camps for kids, teens, and families. The birthday parties have been extremely popular, selling out well in advance. In addition, Inspiring Artists field trips, where we've got elementary schools bringing classes over and taking part in that as well. So setting aside a time for those classes, which has been great. Performing arts has also grown in popularity with increased demand for music, acting, and dance classes. And as well, the team that's over there has been engaged in the community, and we've got helped work on have a Gary Oak art installation that's around the path or over at the rec center, the main rec center, and we've got 15 woodland creatures throughout the Gary Oak walking trail that was in partnership with the local artist Paul Lewis. As well as, if you recall, 2 years ago at the AGM, we also did, with the grand opening of the Child Care Center, we also did a community art project where each of the rooms are named after the 5 owners, and there's an art project specific to, with one of the local artists in each of those rooms. For the Machosen room, it was actually a partnership with the Machosen Co-op Preschool that did the art project that's up in that room, and I've got a picture of that later on. And we also have some rental groups. There's 2 churches that rent space, as well as the Souk Family Resource Center rent space out of the Centennial Center. And lastly, within community recreation, we have the community development. And this is headed by our programmer Bobby Neal, which I believe she's coming on presentations here for different programs. She works as our liaison with the Wanda-Fuka 55 Plus Activity Center and the Wanda-Fuka Seniors Association, which at their last meeting let us know that they're just shy of 1,000 members right now, which is great. So they're definitely climbing back to the numbers they used to have. They operate most of the programming that is in there, evenings and weekends. The rec center has some of our mostly fitness and wellness programs that'll be in there, but the facility is owned by the society, and then we are the landlords and do the maintenance of the facility. We also on site, as mentioned, that opened in May is the Thrifty Foods Skate Park, which has been a fantastic addition once a number of years ago the old park was removed. It's been a great experience with bringing that activity back to the West Shore. We also have community special events team who goes out to within the community and the different events that each of yourselves are hosting. As we're invited, and they develop different programs and activities for the youth that are at the event, with different crafts and arts projects. Some of the examples that we went to last year were the Highlands Fling, Langford Light Up, Colwood Christmas Light Up, various Canada Day events, and the National Indigenous Peoples Day. And this group is also headed by Bobby Neal's the primary source for a lot of our grant funding. So she goes out and seeks a lot of the grant funding. And so some of the things like the Thrifty Foods Skate Park, which was partially funded by the owners, but was also funded through grant funding. Without the hard work that she's done over the years, including the Child Care Center, provincial and federal funding, we wouldn't be able to do some of these different projects we've done. So we've been very successful over the years in receiving grants. Some of the recent ones we received last year were through the Canadian Parks and Recreation Association Youth Employment Experience Program. And so this is for youth, and it incorporates a large customer service component which assists people using programs and services at West Shore. So we partnered them up with some of our programmers to learn how recreation works, but also take on little projects to help encourage more use of the facility. And annually we've also been successful through receiving various federal funding through the Human Resources Department of Canada, which funds a lot of our camp staff positions throughout the summer, as well as Peninsula Co-op grant funding, which goes towards the youth center. With the arena events and golf overview, we've got our Learn to Skate programs, where last year we put through 5,000, mostly children, through skating lessons, drop-in skating, which is around 15,000 drop-ins we had last year. We have a very successful high-performance speed skating program that's more high-performance speed skating for hockey in particular, and in the off-season we see a number of NHLers still return back to Mena, who's been teaching them since they were quite young. Various trade shows, including this weekend, we have the Precious Gems show that's going on for the first time in the indoor sports complex starting on Friday. Filming has been on site at various times. In particular, we had a lot of it through COVID, which was helpful since we couldn't run things. We had a lot of the movie Made, or the show, the miniseries Made. Used quite a few locations, as well as they tend to rent our parking lots as well. They're very good staging places for when they have different shootings somewhere else. We've brought back birthday parties this year, of which we've had 71 birthday parties so far in 2023. We're also home to the regional sledge hockey program that comes out of the Wandafuka on Sundays, and as mentioned, we've got a par 3 golf course, which is a gem in the middle of the grounds, which is the picture there under that. Another significant area of our operations is in general just the facility rentals. So we've got our arenas, as mentioned, which are the home to Wandafuka Minor Hockey, figure skating, Ravens hockey, as well as Wandafuka Minor Lacrosse. We've got numerous rooms that are rent within the facilities. We have church groups, meeting spaces, sports teams. We're using those for AGMs. As well as we get in the field house overlooking the golf course, there's weddings often. And we now actually last year went through RFP and have secured a preferred caterer, which has added that service back to what we unfortunately lost through COVID. And so that's been going very well. Outdoors, we've got numerous user groups, including Wandafuka Soccer and Triangle Athletic Association. And we're the home to the Victoria Grizzlies, the Victoria Shamrocks, West Shore Rugby, West Shore Wolves Junior Hockey, Greater Victoria BMX, Wandafuka Lawn Bowling Club, and Greater Victoria Velodrome Society. So a tremendous variety, of course. And as mentioned at the beginning, we try to ensure that we're inclusive and breaking down barriers to ensure that there aren't any restrictions for people using the facility. A couple of the areas to highlight is we've got staff who actively participate in multiple Indigenous events, including the Changemakers Gathering Festival. as well as before mentioned Bobby Neal, who's fantastic to have on our site, has been sitting on the National Indigenous Peoples Day Planning Committee for the past 7 years, and so we've had the pleasure of having one of the boats dedicated to our staff, or not dedicated, but our staff being able to participate in the event each year, which is a fun team building thing and a great activity to be in and celebration to be involved in. As well as we're the home to the Lego Group, which is a partnership we have with the Pacific Center Family Services Association. It's a trans and queer youth group that meets between 3 and 4:30 every Friday to give them a safe and welcoming place to participate. We also have financial support. A lot of these are regional programs that we're part of. So the LIFE program, which is the leisure involvement for everyone, where those in low income can apply to either have a reduced rate on annual passes or 52 visits through the year at no cost, as well as they get reduction on 3 registered programs per year as well. And the leisure assistance passes for individuals with disabilities, if they need assistance they're going through, that's a pass that is given out so that the individual helping them out gets in for free to assist them through our facilities. And Jumpstart and Kids Sport are different programs that we participate in to help families who are unable to afford to give access to recreation and sport for their children, and we help out with that as well. And we're the site for some third-party programming, including the right across within the parking lot is the JDF Public Library, as mentioned before, Wild Play Adventure Park, and as well as the 55 Plus Activity Center. And lastly, just some Metchosin specifics. So ownership is 7.19%. That's based on, through the agreements, it's based on converted assessment, which is the taxable value of the municipality. And we use that each year as updated based on the previous year to break down requisition percentages. To put that into some comparable numbers, so 7.19% is the ownership, 6.5% of our clients are from Metchosin, 3.6% of our membership holders, 6.56% of our registrations, 4.6% of our drop-ins, 3% of our life programs, and overall 5.6% of all transactions are Metchosin residents. So the part is that comes up from all ownership, how that compares to what they're paying to what the usage is, and it's actually it's always quite impressive to see how close it really is. It does line up quite nicely with what the percentage is. There's different ways you could try to split that, and it comes up in conversations around the agreements every 5 years when that comes up, but for the most part the converted assessment is the most fair, equitable way to try to break that down. It's based on taxation, what kind of revenues are coming into the municipalities. So, and as mentioned down there, those 2 bottom pictures, that's the co-op preschool as they were doing the painting and did the artwork. That's Moment in the Meadow, as it's called. That's in the Metchosin room at West Shore. Overall, we'd like to say we deliver sport for life, community, health and wellness, and diversity. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. Committee, have any questions for Mr. Brown? Mayor Lee?
Mr. Brown, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Sorry. I was just wondering, do you have the capacity to increase your childcare spaces? That would help a number of families in Metchosin, I know.
Yeah, right now, we actually are looking at for next year converting one of the 5 preschools has seen a drop in registration. And the comment is as there has been more and more full-time daycares are starting to come out and throughout the communities, so people are getting those, so not doing preschool. So we are looking at for the fall to convert one of those into a full-time daycare, which will get more spots in there. As far as expansion goes, I guess it's a double-edged sword. So we've had the benefit this year and last year as we've come out and come out of the restrictions and been able to grow with that and see this big capacity. We're pretty much there now. So really, as far as the pool goes, we could offer more swimming lessons, but we need more water. We're definitely running at capacity now, and so to add any more spots for childcare programs or whatnot, it would probably be a swap of something else if we can do that.
Councillor Gray?
Thanks so much, Grant, for the description of Wanafuka Rec Center. What a terrific job you guys are doing. A lot going on there. What's the difference between licensed camps and unlicensed camps you mentioned?
One of them, they're eligible for grant funding through the Ministry of Children and Families, and so there's different requirements as far as ratios and so on that are into there. So they're basically they're governed by what the provincial regulations are for licensing, and that's really the only difference. As far as the activities do, they're very similar. Yeah. It's just some of the families that, if they're lower income and are looking for subsidization through the province, those are the programs that they'll be looking to go into because they get a reduced rate.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Councillor?
Yeah, thank you. The refurbishment of our gym is almost done. I know there has been talk in the past about you expanding some programs out into this area. I just wondered what you might see as the types of programs that might come out and take place out in our area.
I think the demand that we're seeing in our staff I mentioned would be wellness, so we'll be looking at things like Pilates, yoga, those sort of programming they're interested in, but we'd be open to, one of the ones that we'd probably want to do is some kind of community engagement to find out what they're interested in and go from there.
Okay, thanks.
Councillor Shukin, do you have any comments?
No comments, but very impressive though, Grant, just walking through and seeing how much is going on at the site. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the PowerPoint and all the information.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next portion of the meeting is public participation. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak at this part of the agenda? And if so, please step up to the mic, state your name and the street on which you live.
Alex Fletcher, William Head Road. I'm a member of the Agriculture Advisory Committee. I'm here just to give a brief update about the agricultural plan that we're working on. As you all know, in September the council voted to approve a contract with Uplands Consulting to take on an ag plan from Chosen. The Agriculture Advisory Committee has made a subcommittee that is leading the effort and working with the consultants. So I'm on the committee, Shelley's on the committee, Peter Chadbrall, Robin Tunnicliffe, and Andrew Penn are all on the subcommittee. There's sort of three main components to the ag plan work. There's a background report piece, sort of getting together what information is available, establishing a bit of a context picture of agriculture in Chosen. There's a public engagement, community engagement piece, and then drafting the actual agricultural plan. So we've been mainly focused on, we've gotten a first draft of the background report to the subcommittee, and I provided feedback on that, and have been working to develop a stakeholder list for the consultants to work with. They're in the process of conducting targeted interviews with community members, and we put together 2 surveys, one for the broad community and one for farmers and producers. That's just getting finalized right now and should be going out to the community this weekish. We'll be putting out an article, hopefully in the December Muse, with more information about that and trying to get more people to participate in the survey. The engagement work will lead to an engagement summary report, which should be ready in December. And a first draft of the ag plan should be ready in December for the subcommittee to review. That'll come back with a second draft early in the new year, which will probably come to council for input, and will also be opened up to the public for input. And then we're expecting to have ideally a final draft of the ag plan to council for February. That's sort of the rough timeline where we're at, what we've been working on. So far it's been a great group we've been working with. The consultants have been really good, and it's been interesting already, some of the stuff we're learning. For example, just that, developing the background report, it's clear that there isn't really a clear, easy way to access data about agriculture from Chosen. We were looking at StatsCan data, but we can't get anything below Juan de Fuca electoral area for ag data. There is an agricultural land use inventory that's been done by the province, but that also, when we're looking at it, we're seeing that it's sort of a windshield survey, so there's some discrepancies, some missing information, so we're not really confident that's completely accurate. And we're looking at the BC assessment data. It's useful, but also limited because farm tax status isn't a direct correlation to farm productivity. But hopefully we can get more information about that and also through the surveys. And one of the findings might be that we just need to have a more regular effort to be collecting this data to make sure we know numbers and stats about agriculture in Metchosin. I'll stick around to any questions later on. Thank you.
Does anybody have questions now for Alex from the committee? Okay, we look forward to more reports and work on the training.
Great. Thanks very much. And thanks to Council for supporting this effort.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to speak this evening? Okay, seeing none, I will move on to adoption of the minutes, page 3, for the Finance Committee of October 23rd, 2023. Moved by Mayor Little, seconded by Councillor Shukin. Any comments? Councillor Gray.
Sure, I just see an action item there under 3 public participation. Patty White has commented about making sure we add some funds to the budget. So when we start our budget discussions, we should remember that one.
Correct. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Approved. Thank you. And if we turn to reports on page 7 is the West Shore Parks and Recreation Staff Report. It's the 2024 budget and requisition request. Could I have we want a motion first. Stated here that the Finance Committee recommend Council approve the West Shore Parks and Recreation Society 2024 budget and requisition as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Shukin, seconded by Councillor Gray. Any discussion? Seeing none, call Councillor Gray. Yes.
Can I just ask, are there any highlights particularly that you were interested in when you went through the budget process? Anything that we should be eyeing specifically?
Highlights. Well, I've reported each month on the various events and investments that the West Shore Parks and Recreation have been doing. We've been going through the quarterly budgets, and I'd have to say I'm confident with the work that is being done and the investment of where the funds are going. I have to say this has been a very positive group for me to be affiliated with, representing our community, and the positive staff that work at West Shore Parks and Recreation. They're very diligent about keeping down our costs, always seeking grant funds, diversifying their properties, as I've reported in the past with, as an example, the lawn bowling is not just for lawn bowling. So in the times it's not being used, the 10-bit soccer kids are out there using as well. So they're a little lighter on their feet with that part of the areas and stuff. And so there's a lot of diversifying of our properties throughout the 109 acres it was. So no, I'm quite confident that this is a balanced budget and representative of us as owners. Councillor Schaefer.
Thanks, Councillor Donaldson. If I'm looking at the difference between the budget of 2023 and 2024, I'm seeing a very modest increase of 2,152 in terms of the requisition.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's I seem to recall it being much higher last year, but relative. But so yeah, again, a modest increase that we're seeing.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, can I call the question? All in favor? And it's carried. Thank you. Okay, so on page 41, Councillor's update. Okay, so we heard from Alex, who's one of the members of the Agriculture Committee. The Ag Plan is well underway, and there'll be lots happening in very short order, so it's a busy time for them. It's always busy for farmers. So we're really there squeezing it in. We all have different farms, so we're making it work. The Producers Association had their AGM at the end of their season. They'll have one more market, which will be December 3rd, and it will be the Christmas market. So that is open to everyone that wants to come out to that. That's this weekend, or the following weekend. We have lots of different farmers in the community that do not come to the farmers market. However, they have farms that have gate sales, farm stands, and that sort of thing, and quite a few of them are open throughout December. Sea Bluff Farm and Windwhip Farm and lots of other ones that please do drive by and do some local business shopping there. Lots of great fruits and vegetables still. And the farm stands are not just limited to that. They do have other things that they produce, baked goods and sometimes byproducts of what's going on with their farms. So have a look. You will find out that there are some things advertised on the local Facebook pages, so that's also another source. I'm hoping in the new year that we'll be able to have some information in the news on farm stands, so look out for that come closer to spring. West Shore Parks and Recreation, the marketing team gave a presentation at the last meeting, explaining how they're using social media for presence. They're using consistent branding, seeing lots of positive results with that. I'm trying my best to push out some things that I think that would be of interest to our community and the demographics in our community, and that's on the Facebook. We also had the third quarter review on the finances, which now have been translated into the upcoming budgets. And there's lots of new programs. One that caught my eyes, one that's called The Shore, and it's for youth aged 11 to 18. And that it will be at different locations. Right now it's one Fuca Recreation Center and also the Centennial Center on Carl Road, different days. So going online to check out their website will give you more information on that. There's all sorts of fun things happening at the rec center. I have to say they're very creative. October they were using pumpkins as weights and even pumpkins in the aquafit. So I'm assuming pumpkins float, but I don't know. I wasn't there. I just saw the photos. Great Victoria Public Library. They, in order to cut some of your entertainment expenses, use your library card for free access to video streaming services. There's something called Hoopla and Canopy. I've yet to learn how to do that myself. But I know my neighbors are using that, and it sounds like it's a great place to access documentaries and feature films and television series and such. There are feature things that are going on all the time. They have an Indigenous book club forecasted at 3 different dates. So there's a way of exploring rich history and culture of Indigenous people in Canada through their writings. So this is an exciting opportunity to learn more things with our literacy. October was the Canadian Library Month. And there was lots of fun facts that were being posted on social media. Storytelling programs available for young people, large print book and audiobooks are being offered in a range of materials in accessible formats. Just like the rec center, if you go along the hallways, you'll see a lot of community arts being displayed, and you'll see that through all of the I think we have 12 or 13 branches of the library, so there's lots of community art opportunities to take in as well. Bufferland Working Group, as everyone knows that have been attending meetings and certainly council, the term is complete for the working group. However, the work is not complete, so recommendations gone before council. We'll see more coming from that. Halloween was in full force, a very huge bonfire. However, our fire department was out there with their fire suppression. We had a water curtain set up and hydrant was connected, so protecting our trees nearby and any embers that might have gone away. So much appreciation to the fire department for putting that on and creating the haunted hall, which I heard was fantastic. So yeah, lots of, there was great refreshments, there was a costume parade, everybody was dressed in their, some were recognizable, some were not in their costumes, so it was really cool. Remembrance Day, very well attended this year. I've been helping organize this for well over 10 years now, and even though it had torrential downpours, it was probably the best attended year that I think I've seen. I had an email from the Girl Guides of West Shore area groups. 55 Girl Guides were expected to arrive. I don't know if that many did come, but there was a lot of people of all ages that were in attendance. And I would have to say special thanks to Tom Henry for emceeing the event, 14th Montefeuca group, Scout group, for serving the refreshments afterwards. The Pipers, we had 3 of them this year who led us through the march, struggling with little droplets of rain getting in their drones, but none of us could probably hear that. They expressed it, their concern later, and I said they did a great job. And the volunteer fire department for helping control the traffic so that we could actually have that half-hour ceremony, being able to walk from the fire department to the cenotaph without interruption of keeping everybody safe. Once upon a time, we used to march down the side of the road, and then it was presented to council that we needed to do more than that because this event had grown so much. So yeah, so that's all I have for my update. And so now we're at the end of our agenda, and I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Shukin. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.